Good morning. Nicole here with Dear Teacher Instructional Coaching. I am recording this on a beautiful June morning. The sun is shining. We have had storms that have come through the past few days, been cloudy, been kind of dreary feeling. The wind's been blowing like crazy. And today is just a really beautiful morning. And so I want to acknowledge that and appreciate that. Part of self-care, appreciating the little things, the things around you. So today's episode is actually about managing a schedule in the summertime. And I think that for a lot of us, having a schedule or not having a schedule is so freeing because our lives are so controlled by time during the school year. Everything is based off that bell schedule. Everything has to, function appropriately within that time. And so because everything is based around those time constraints, when we don't have them anymore, we just, woof! I don't know about you guys, but like my days go by so incredibly fast. Like I can't believe June's half over. Slow down. How is June half over already? And so I actually had I journal personally almost every day. So I was journaling about this last night and I'm like, why is this something that it's a constant theme that comes up for me is managing my schedule. And it seems that it's been such a problem. It was a problem when distance learning started because that was a monkey wrench thrown into everything. And then the school year ended in literally the most anticlimactic way. Like just bye. I mean, it was so weird. It was so just not the way you want to end your year. And even though we did some really cool things to say goodbye, there wasn't the actual goodbye that really happened. So there is this kind of weird, almost seamless transition into summertime where I felt like I should be like on my office hours and engaging with my students, but it's summertime, so I don't do that. It's been a really strange transition, and I'm sure a lot of people are feeling a very similar way, that this has been just a very weird transition into summer. And so I was journaling about the fact that I'm having a hard time managing my time. And what will happen is, so for example, we did landscaping around our home. Well, we went full bore with that for a week, knocked it out in 7 days. It was a huge project. I was physically exhausted. Like, things hurt on me, you guys, that I didn't even know, could hurt. My hands, my knees, it was deep within them. I'm like, I didn't even know that you could experience such pain in your hands. Like, what? So it was very much, going crazy with this, and that's what all of our time is devoted to. And there was no balance. That's what I started to think about. I was like, I'm outside working on this all the time. I'm not having any time indoors to be doing other goals that I'm working on. And it feels out of sync and out of balance. And so that word balance got me thinking. So I have read, this is one of my favorite teacher books, Sanctuary Self-Care for Self-Care Secrets for Stressed Out Teachers. And there is a chapter in here about the word harmony. And so I'd like to read you a little bit about this, and then we'll get into the managing of our schedule and the managing of our time. In simple terms, harmony is the idea that all the parts are working together in a way that is satisfying, complete, and pleasant. When you seek harmony instead of a precarious sense of balance, you can work in alignment with your true self, and in doing so, access a sense of peace and tranquility, even in those moments when the world spins just a little too fast. So this whole idea that he's kind of talking about when it comes to harmony, or when it comes to balance, is you have your work life and you have your personal life, and this idea that what you're giving to those should be equal, right? And so if you're giving more to one, things get out of balance, and then you have that guilt. And that guilt is what I'm feeling. When I was so exhausted last week Friday that I laid on the couch and watched NCIS like all dang day, then by the end of the day though, I felt like my body physically needed to not really move. Like it needed the rest. But I was so exhausted, I couldn't bring myself to like work on anything. So then I end up going to bed that night feeling guilty, berating myself, kind of doing some negative self-talk about like, God dang it, Nikki, you have all these like negative, lazy person tendencies. Why are you giving into that? And so I have struggled with this sense of balance and this idea of harmony that is presented in this book is really how we need to be thinking about our time. It can't be about balance. It has to be about harmony. And so when it comes to me deciding what will be harmonious for me, summertime, it looks different than our school year. It does. And so it can be very difficult for us to figure out how we are going to budget that time and how we are going to use that time and how we are going to create harmony in our lives. So this is what I've done to help me through this process. So the first thing that I did is I listed what I actually have going on. What do I actually have scheduled? So I have professional development that is taking place on a specific day in July. I have 2 professional development courses that are self-paced that I need to be working on this summer. So those are the 2. Oh, and I'm teaching STEM Academy, which is very specific days. So those things have deadlines, due dates, times attached to them. And so those have to be priority. And so after the things that I have to do and I plug that information into my schedule and into my calendar or planner, whether you use your phone or you use something that is paper format, once I have that stuff written down and a game plan for the stuff that has due dates and things I really, really, really need to make sure that I'm getting done at specific times and managing very well, then I take a look at the stuff I want to do. So carving out the time for reading, keeping it relatively consistent, making sure that I carve out the time to write, that I'm carving out the time to film, that I'm carving out the time to go tan, that I'm carving out the time to go fishing at the lake, those are all the things I want to do, and it's finding harmony within all of that. I also need to make sure when I'm thinking of those professional development, a lot of people struggle with self-pace because we're not very good at setting our own deadlines. So if you have something going on like that where you're doing self-paced, make sure you are giving yourself those deadlines and then you're filling in what you want to do sort of around that. And here's the deal. The stuff you want, you don't gotta schedule a time for that. You know, like one day if it's 90 degrees and humid in the morning, that's when I'm probably going to be sitting outside to read, because by the time it hits 100 degrees in the afternoon, I don't want to be outside. That's just not my jam. I don't want to be sitting out there sweating my life away. So when it gets to be afternoon, that's probably when I'm going to have my computer time. So have in your mind, these are the things I want to, kind of play around with daily, that I have, a couple hours where I'm doing the stuff I have to do, but the majority of the time is stuff that I want to do. Then I'll have a little bit more harmony in my life. And sometimes it's been kind of, so we had a really rainy day 2 days ago. And it was funny because my significant other was like, oh, it's so dreary and gross and cold outside. And I'm sitting there with my cup of coffee and I'm like, yes, I can do inside stuff that I want to do, because I have plenty of inside stuff where I'm sitting on my bum and reading or doing stuff on the computer, research, just reading a book for fun, watching an episode of NCIS because I'm literally obsessed with it right now. I mean, I can find joy in those days. I don't need to have it be sunny and 75 every day to have a good day. I just don't. So I hope that with the things that you have that you want to do, that you've got some like outdoor activities that you want, but that you also have some stuff where, because let's face it, I mean, it's not going to be beautiful every day, and it's typically windy almost every dang day in North Dakota. So make sure that you're taking the time to have some harmony and balance when it comes to, I like activities both inside and out. So that way you can have joy every single day. So that idea of having like a flexible calendar, I tried doing I'm going to work from 8 to noon, and then I'm going to work from 1 to 3. I don't know why I'm trying to put myself into such a strict regimen when I don't need to right now. I can give my brain a break from worrying about time, because my brain is so aware of time during the school year because everything we do is centered on it. I gotta rest that. I need to rest that a little bit. So though I have my professional development and my deadlines for self-paced, that stuff's in my planner. My deadlines are set for when I want to get things done by certain dates. So I have goals and I have things that I'm accomplishing that way. That's not what I'm working on for hours at a time every day. I'm more so a couple hours, an hour here, an hour there, and then working on other things that I want to do. And a lot of that does have to do with, things around the home, or deep cleaning a specific room, or cleaning out a closet, or what have you. So when it comes to managing your time and trying to think of a summer schedule, consider how you can create harmony in your life so you're not feeling guilty because you've tipped the scales one way or the other when you're trying to have a balance between the two. So I get that harmony is going to look very different for us in the summertime than the school year. And we will probably end up talking about how we have harmony when it comes to the school year. But if you allow yourself this time to practice that concept, then it should be an easier transition for you when you get to the school year. And this isn't about trying to make things equal. This is about having harmony in what I'm doing in my life. So it's just a little chat for you. I hope that helped you out. I hope that you are able to get yourself the stuff you need to have planned and written down, and that everything else, you allow yourself some grace and give yourself some time to do the things that you want to do. With love, Nicole.